82%? This report can't be right.
We saw it ourselves. They explode, but they're not direct hits.
The V-1 flying bombs, Hitler's terror weapon, were being destroyed.
They detonate somehow just by being near the target.
The rate rose from 17% in June to 74%, and now 82%?
This is the most profound technological shock the Wehrmacht has ever experienced.
What Wachtel didn't know was that they were witnessing a secret.
A technology protected at the same level as the atomic bomb project.
German physics says this doesn't exist. So, what is it?
The story began 10 weeks earlier, June 13th, 9:44.
Hitler unleashed his vengeance weapon in response to D-Day.
6 dead. 200 homeless. This was only the beginning. Even at 25% success, we will deliver more explosives than the entire Blitz.
At a fraction of the cost of a bomber. No aircrew at risk.
Interception is nearly impossible.
At 640 kilometers per hour, British fighters need over 650 just to catch it.
And if they get within 200 meters, they too are destroyed.
As for anti-aircraft fire, ballistic science was clear. The probability of a direct hit on such a small, fast target
is less than 1 in 10,000 shells.
Target's passed! Too fast!
Conventional timed fuses required perfect prediction, precise calculation.
And gunners had only 30 seconds from detection to engagement.
Oberst Wachtel knew these limitations from both sides.
From ground size, the Germans launched 9,521 V-1s against England.
British interception rate is climbing. It's at 24%. July. These statistics just don't make sense.
They're downing V-1s, but using almost no ammunition. It's impossible! The explosions are way too far away to be direct hits. How is this happening?
Unknown to them, the Germans were witnessing the proximity fuse.
It turned near misses into kills.
Proximity fuses? British disinformation. Ignore it.
We tried over 30 designs. None worked.
Our conclusion: proximity fuses are impossible to build.
Challenge 1. Miniaturize a radio transmitter/receiver into a shell.
Challenge 2. Make fragile vacuum tubes survive 20,000 Gs.
Challenge 3. Create a battery that activates instantly after years in storage.
The tubes would shatter like glass.
the batteries would die.
And yet, by August 1944, American factories were producing
40,000 VT fuses per day.
The final week of August. The British had reorganized their entire defense.
We moved the guns to the south coast, creating a gun belt.
The coastal position ensured any duds fell into the sea, keeping our secret.
Target incoming. SCR 584 automatic lock.
Radar is calculating trajectory, feeding firing data to the guns.
Guns synced. Firing on command.
The fuse contained a miniature radio transmitter.
When the reflected signal grew strong, a thyrotron switch triggered.
The detonator, sending steel fragments through the V1's hull.
Oberst today. 82% were destroyed over the coast.
This is physically impossible. Find me the saboteurs! Check the missiles!
Tests show normal performance. The problem only occurs against the British.
Unknown to them, the Germans were witnessing the proximity fuse.
It turned near misses into kills.
Proximity fuses? British disinformation. Ignore it.
We tried over 30 designs. None worked.
Our conclusion? Proximity fuses are impossible to build.
We used to make refrigerators. Now we make lifesavers.
Sylvania developed tubes based on hearing aid designs.
Small enough to fit. Tough enough to fire. Sylvania produced 400,000 of these tubes every day.
The contrast was absolute. Germany handcrafted weapons with slave labor.
Monthly American fuse production exceeded Germany's total war V1 production.
Quality control was unprecedented. Every fuse was tested.
Random samples were test-fired. Rejection rate below 2%.
The V1 offensive is neutralized.
Of the 9,521 V1s launched, only 2,515 reached London.
Without the proximity fuse, V1 casualties would have been 4 to 5 times higher. We must get one. We cannot grasp what is defeating us.
Germany's intelligence failure was total.
Just standard artillery. Leave it.
They held the evidence in their hands, but their hubris blinded them.
What did you suspect, Oberstwachtel?
Improved radar, perhaps? Faster setting, timed fuses. We never imagined self-thinking shells.
Impossible. These vacuum tubes. They survived the launch?
The batteries still worked? We estimate we were 10 years behind you.
This technology didn't just save London. It saved the Pacific Fleet.
They didn't know what they were making.
We only found out after the war that we'd helped save London.
This ammunition is special. Strict accounting is required.
Any unexploded shell was immediately secured. The Germans never recovered one.
This secrecy costs lives.
Allied ground forces couldn't use proximity-fused artillery until December 1944.
But using them against the V1 was justified. London's survival was crucial.
The V1 program drained critical German resources. Resources that should have gone to fighter aircraft and anti-tank weapons.
Before the fuse, it took an average of 2,500 heavy belay shells to destroy one V1.
With the proximity fuse, that number dropped to 100 shells.
A shift achieved not by courage, but by technology.
22 million fuses in total, costing over $1 billion in the 1940s.
It was one of the most important weapons, surpassed only by the atomic bomb.
The proximity fuzz saved London through thousands of small explosions. It was the triumph of industrial democracy over totalitarian engineering.
Mass production over crafted perfection.
You never knew, Oberst.
Never. We never understood until it was all over.
America's greatest victory wasn't on the battlefield,
but in the factories, where millions of workers produced the tiny devices that saved a city and transformed warfare forever.
82%. How?
The Germans were defeated by a secret they couldn't conceive, and an industrial might they couldn't match.
This secrecy cost lives.
Allied ground forces couldn't use proximity-fused artillery until December 1944.
But using them against the V1 was justified. London's survival was crucial.
The V1 program drained critical German resources.
Resources that should have gone to fighter aircraft and anti-tank weapons.
This secrecy cost lives.
Allied ground forces couldn't use proximity-fused artillery until December 1944.
But using them against the V1 was justified. London's survival was crucial.
Det vet på folk injures program för.
Resources that should have gone to fighter aircraft and anti-tank weapons.